Welcome to Darren's Book Nook. I'm Darren.
I'm Sarah. Today, we're going deep on Cody Sanchez's Street Millionaire
Oh, cool.
and really trying to unlock her secrets to building wealth.
Nice.
This book kind of flips the script on traditional investment advice, arguing that the path to riches might be paved with, well, boring businesses.
Interesting. Yeah, what's really cool about Sanchez's approach is that she advocates for acquiring those profitable, established small businesses, the ones we see every day. Think like your local dry cleaner, the laundromat down the street.
Yeah.
Maybe even that kind of quirky mini golf course you drove by as a kid.
Right.
Often, these are the overlooked gems that have quietly generated wealth for their owners, sometimes even for generations.
That's right. She's not talking about chasing flashy startups or becoming the next big tech unicorn.
Oh.
It's all about that steady cash flow for businesses that are often seen as unsexy, but have proven themselves over time.
Exactly. And that's where Sanchez introduces her RICH formula. It's like a step-by-step blueprint for achieving financial freedom through business acquisition.
Gotcha.
It's almost like a treasure map, guiding you through the process of identifying, evaluating, acquiring, and growing profitable businesses.
Okay, you've definitely piqued my interest now. You know, a lot of people, myself included, might feel stuck in that 9-to-5 grind. Does Sanchez address this feeling of being trapped at all?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, she starts the book by challenging that conventional idea that a good job is the key to financial stability.
Right.
She argues that the 9-to-5 system actually keeps people stuck in a cycle, trading time for money, but with very limited potential for real wealth creation.
It's like that saying, if you don't find a way to make money while you sleep, you will work until you die. I think that was Warren Buffett.
Yes, that's right. A powerful quote from Buffett. And Sanchez uses it to emphasize the importance of ownership as the key to breaking free from that cycle.
Right.
And owning a business, even a small one, can create that freedom.
So it's not just about earning a paycheck. It's about owning a piece of something that generates income.
Yes.
Even when you're not actively working.
Passive income.
I like it. This whole idea of ownership is definitely intriguing, but it also sounds pretty daunting. How do you even begin to think about buying a business?
Well, Sanchez introduces this fascinating concept called the Lindy Effect to help simplify things.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
Honestly, I can't say that I have. Is it some kind of financial metric or something?
It's a concept that actually originated in statistics.
Okay.
But it can be applied to all sorts of things, including businesses.
Okay.
It essentially states that the longer something has survived, the longer it is likely to continue to survive.
So applying that to businesses, does that mean that older, more established businesses are safer bets than brand new startups?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Think of it like this. Those Main Street businesses that have been around for decades, the ones that have weathered recessions and change in trends, they've already proven their resilience and their ability to generate consistent profits.
Right.
That makes them potentially less risky than a startup that's still trying to figure things out.
That makes a lot of sense. It's like choosing between a stock with a proven track record versus a volatile penny stock, right?
Yeah, I like that analogy.
But what makes these established businesses easier to acquire compared to, say, a Fortune 500 company?
It really boils down to competition.
Okay.
Everyone wants a piece of those big high-revenue companies, right? That drives up prices and makes them practically inaccessible to most individual investors. But the market for small businesses is often overlooked.
Okay.
And that creates an opportunity for those who are willing to look beyond the fleshy names.
So less competition, which means potentially better deals and more opportunities to find those hidden gems.
Exactly.
I like where this is going. Now, Sanchez talks about different levels of business acquisitions.
Yes.
It sounds like she's acknowledging that not everyone has the same resources or risk tolerance, right?
That's right. She breaks it down into 3 levels, almost like choose your own adventure based on your experience and your capital.
Okay, so walk me through these levels. What are we looking at here?
Level 1 is perfect for those just starting out.
Okay.
These are businesses with annual profits between $50,000 and $150,000.
Gotcha.
They require less capital, so it's a lower barrier to entry.
Right.
And it's a great way to kind of dip your toes into the world of business ownership.
I imagine that would be less intimidating for someone new to this whole concept.
For sure.
And then we move up to level 2.
Exactly. Level 2 is for those with more experience, maybe a bit higher risk tolerance.
Okay.
And of course, more capital to invest. We're talking businesses pulling in $250,000 to $500,000 in annual profit.
So still within the realm of small business, but with a higher potential return?
Exactly.
And then there's a third level.
Yes. Level 3 is what Sanchez calls labor-moded businesses. These are typically professional services businesses.
Gotcha.
That rely on specialized skill sets or certifications.
Okay.
Think accountant firms, marketing agencies, even specialized consultancies.
Right.
They have a competitive edge because they're not easily replicated.
Okay, so we've got these levels, but are there any types of businesses that we should just avoid altogether?
You are correct.
I mean, some industries just seem inherently riskier than others, right?
You're right, and Sanchez doesn't shy away from that.
Okay.
In fact, she uses a cautionary tale from her own life to illustrate this point.
Okay.
She talks about a friend who was so excited about buying a restaurant.
Now, who doesn't love a good restaurant? It seems like it would be a fun business to own.
Yeah.
What could be the problem?
Well, Sanchez explains that while restaurants can be passion projects,
okay,
they're also notorious for their high failure rates and financial risks.
Really? So it's not all sunshine and delicious smells in the restaurant world?
Unfortunately not. Sanchez actually lists 6 specific types of businesses she recommends avoiding, and restaurants top that list.
Okay.
She also advises steering clear of hotels, retail storefronts, bars, gyms,
wow,
and even those tempting but often risky Amazon FBA or dropshipping ventures.
Wow, that's a pretty diverse list. So it's not just about the industry itself, it's about understanding the underlying risks and challenges, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And Sanchez doesn't just make these claims out of thin air, right?
Yeah.
She backs it up with some hard data.
Absolutely. She cites statistics showing that while the average small business in the U.S. sells for around $800,000,
okay,
the average restaurant only goes for about $198,000.
That's a huge difference. I would have guessed that restaurants would command a higher price.
Yeah, it's interesting, right?
Yeah.
It really reflects the market's perception of the risks involved.
Okay.
And those risks are significant.
Yeah.
Sanchez points out that a staggering 60% of restaurants fail within their first year alone.
Wow.
And that number jumps to 80% after 4 years.
Okay, those numbers are pretty sobering.
Yeah.
So it seems like passion alone won't keep a restaurant afloat.
Right.
What about the other businesses on her avoid list? What's the problem with hotels, for example?
Well, Sanchez argues that hotels aren't really businesses in the traditional sense.
Okay.
They're more like real estate with way too many moving parts.
So you're not just managing a business, you're also dealing with the complexities of real estate ownership.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And the cash flow often doesn't justify that high cost of the real estate transaction.
Gotcha.
You're essentially taking on the challenges of both real estate and business management, which can be a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
Especially for someone new to acquisitions.
I'm starting to see why she advises caution. What about retail storefronts? I feel like everyone has dreamed of owning a cute little boutique at some point.
It's a common dream.
Yeah.
But Sanchez argues that unless you're dealing with luxury goods or a highly specialized niche,
right,
retail storefronts can be real money pits, especially in the age of online shopping.
Yeah, it's hard to compete with the convenience and the endless selection of online retailers.
It really is. Sanchez actually uses a powerful image to illustrate this point.
Okay.
She describes a massive Dillard's department store, over 200,000 square feet.
Wow.
Sitting empty and dark.
Yeah.
It's a stark reminder of how the retail landscape has changed.
Right.
And the challenges that those brick and mortar stores are facing.
It's a pretty vivid picture. It sounds like there's a lot to consider even before we start looking for a business to buy.
You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
And that's why Sanchez emphasizes the importance of understanding yourself and your goals.
Okay.
Before you even dive into the acquisition process.
So it's not just about finding a profitable business, it's about finding the right business for you.
Exactly. It's about aligning your acquisition strategy with your personality, your skills, and your desired lifestyle.
Yeah, it makes sense that you wouldn't want to buy a business that's completely misaligned with your interests or expertise. Now, Sanchez talks about a 3-step process for self-assessment, right?
Yes, she does.
What does that look like?
The first step is all about defining your owner experience.
Okay.
What kind of business do you actually want to own?
Okay.
Do you want to be hands-on in the day-to-day operations? Mm-hmm. Or do you envision a more passive role as an investor?
I can see how that would be a crucial first step.
It is.
You wouldn't want to, buy a bakery if you can't stand the thought of being up at 4 a.m. every morning.
Exactly.
So what's the second step in this self-assessment process?
The second step is about knowing your zone of genius. What are you naturally good at? What are you passionate about? How can you leverage those skills and interests to create value in a business setting?
So it's not just about finding a profitable business. It's about finding a business that aligns with your strengths and passions.
Yes.
That seems like a recipe for success, both financially and personally.
Absolutely.
Now, what's the third step in the self-assessment process?
The third step is about defining your deal box.
Okay.
Think of it like a checklist of criteria that outlines your ideal acquisition.
Okay, so what kind of things go in this deal box?
It could include factors like your desired valuation range, your revenue expectations, your preferred location, even the specific type of seller you're looking for.
It sounds like a way to kind of narrow down your search and focus on businesses that truly meet your needs and goals.
Exactly.
So we've done our self-assessment. We have a clear picture of what we want.
Right.
But how do we actually find these hidden gem businesses that are ripe for acquisition?
Right.
Does Sanchez offer any guidance on that?
Absolutely. And she calls it the secret seller phenomenon.
Okay.
It's this idea that finding motivated sellers is actually easier than most people think.
Okay.
Sanchez challenges the assumption that profitable businesses rarely come up for sale.
I guess it makes sense. People's circumstances change, you know? They retire, they relocate, maybe they just lose interest in running a business.
Exactly. And Sanchez actually delves into the specific motivations behind why people sell thriving businesses.
Okay.
She calls them the 7 Ds. You've heard of this?
No, I haven't. What are the 7 Ds?
Well, they are death, divorce, disease, distress, dullness, departure, and disagreement.
Wow, those Ds cover a pretty wide range of life events and circumstances.
They do.
Yeah.
And they represent those diverse reasons why someone might be motivated to sell their business, even a successful one.
Right.
Take divorce, for example.
Okay.
When a couple who owns a business goes through a divorce, they often need to liquidate assets to divide them fairly.
Right.
And this can lead to a business being put up for sale.
I can see how that would create a unique opportunity for a buyer.
Yes.
They're getting a business that's likely already established and profitable, and the seller is motivated to make a deal.
Exactly.
What about dullness? I'm curious about that one.
So Sanchez explains that sometimes business owners simply lose interest or passion for their business. Maybe they've been doing it for years and are ready for a change, or they're looking for new challenges.
Makes sense. Running a business can be incredibly demanding.
Oh, yeah.
And after years of doing it, some people might be ready to move on to something else.
For sure.
Or maybe just retire.
Exactly. And Sanchez points out another significant factor that's contributing to this whole secret seller phenomenon.
Okay.
It's the aging population of baby boomer business owners.
Right.
Many of them are reaching retirement age and looking to exit their businesses.
Yeah.
And this is creating a wave of potential acquisition opportunities.
So there are motivated sellers out there, often with great businesses to sell.
There are.
That's encouraging. But how do we actually find them? I'm guessing Sanchez has some strategies for uncovering these hidden gems.
She does. And she calls them her 7 ways to find motivated sellers.
Okay.
And they're all about being proactive and thinking outside the box.
Okay. I'm ready to hear these strategies. Let's dive in. What's the first one?
All right. The first one is all about leveraging your network.
Okay.
Think about your accountants, attorneys, financial advisors, even real estate agents. They often have deep connections within the business community.
Right.
And might know of businesses that are quietly exploring a sale.
That's a great point. They're often the first to know when someone is thinking about selling a business.
They are.
It's all about tapping into their expertise and connections. What's the next strategy?
Sanchez encourages readers to be proactive and reach out directly to business owners.
Okay.
Don't be afraid to knock on doors, attend industry events, or even join your local chamber of commerce.
Okay, that's a bold move.
It is.
Not everyone is comfortable with that kind of direct outreach.
You're right. It might feel uncomfortable at first.
Yeah.
But it can be incredibly effective.
Okay.
Think of it like networking, but with a specific purpose.
Right.
You're not just meeting people. You're actively looking for businesses that might be a good fit for you.
I like it. Now, are there any resources or organizations that can help with this process?
Yes. Sanchez also suggests exploring resources like small business development centers or SBDCs.
What are those?
They're centers that offer free support and guidance to business owners,
okay,
including those who are considering selling.
So they're like a one-stop shop for business advice and resources.
Exactly. They often have advisors who specialize in succession planning, which can be incredibly valuable when you're looking for potential acquisition targets.
So it's like they're matchmakers, connecting buyers and sellers.
In a way, yes.
That's really helpful. Now, does Sanchez have any other unconventional strategies up her sleeve?
She does. There's a fun one that she calls the Venmo challenge.
The Venmo challenge. That sounds intriguing. Tell me more.
It's all about analyzing your own spending habits.
Oh, okay.
Look at your credit card statements, your bank transactions, even your Venmo activity.
Okay.
But instead of focusing on budgeting, you're looking for those small businesses you've been consistently paying.
So you're basically looking for businesses that you're already a customer of.
Exactly. You might already be interacting with your ideal acquisition target without even realizing it.
That's a great point.
Sanchez gives the example of her cleaning lady, Jane.
Okay.
She realized that Jane had a great business with a lot of potential.
Okay.
But she wasn't using any marketing or systems to really grow.
So what did Sanchez do? Did she just offer to buy Jane's business outright?
Not exactly.
Okay.
She saw an opportunity to kind of help Jane grow her business.
Okay.
And she offered to partner with her.
Oh.
She suggested they work together to implement some basic marketing strategies and systems in exchange for a percentage of the profits.
That's a creative approach. It's a win-win.
Exactly.
Jane gets the support she needs to grow her business, and Sanchez gains a stake in a potentially lucrative venture.
Right. It's a great example of how you can leverage your own skills and expertise to create value for both yourself and the business owner.
I love that example. It shows that you don't always have to follow that traditional path of buying a business outright.
Right.
There are other creative ways to get involved and create value.
Exactly. And Sanchez provides another great example of creative deal-making with the story of Lisa Song Sutton.
Okay.
A woman who successfully built a mini mailbox empire.
A mini mailbox empire? That sounds like a niche market.
It is, but Lisa's story is a great example of how to identify a need, find a creative solution, and build a profitable business.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more about Lisa's journey.
So it all started with Lisa defining her goals and her ideal owner experience.
Okay.
She knew she wanted a business that was recession-proof, provided recurring revenue, and as she put it, involved no drama.
Sounds like a solid plan.
It is.
Yeah.
And she also knew her zone of genius was in real estate and deal making.
Right.
But she needed to find the right business to leverage those skills.
So she wasn't just looking for any business. She was looking for a business that aligned with her strengths.
Exactly. And instead of waiting for opportunities to kind of fall into her lap, she took action.
Okay.
She walked straight into a UPS store and started talking to the owner.
What a bold move. I'm guessing she wasn't there to ship a package?
She was on a mission.
Yeah.
And during that conversation, she discovered that the mailbox rental business was a perfect fit for her goals.
Okay.
It was recession-proof, it offered recurring revenue, and it wasn't particularly glamorous or dramatic.
Right.
But here's the brilliant part. Lisa realized that she needed to understand the business inside and out.
Okay, so what did she do? Did she enroll in some kind of mailbox rental course?
She did something even better.
Okay.
She offered the owner a deal he couldn't refuse.
Okay.
She'd work for him for 2 weeks, unpaid,
Wow.
in exchange for a crash course in how to run the business.
Wow, that's a smart strategy.
It is.
She essentially got paid in knowledge and experience.
Exactly. And during those 2 weeks, she documented every step of the process. She created a detailed set of standard operating procedures for the business.
That's smart.
This not only helped her learn the ropes, but also created a valuable asset.
Right.
Something that she could use to train future employees or even attract potential buyers down the line.
So she wasn't just learning, she was building systems and documenting her knowledge, which is incredibly valuable.
Exactly.
And I'm guessing she didn't stop there.
She didn't.
Yeah.
She used her real estate savvy to find the perfect locations for her mailbox rental businesses.
Okay.
Focusing on up-and-coming neighborhoods with strong growth potential.
So she was leveraging her existing skills and knowledge to gain a competitive advantage.
Right.
And did she handle the people side of the business as well?
Oh, absolutely. She went the extra mile to find the right people to operate her businesses.
Okay.
She hired young women who were eager to learn and grow with the business.
Okay.
Creating a strong and motivated team from the very beginning.
It sounds like she was a natural at applying the principles that Sanchez outlines in the book.
Oh, yeah.
She defined her goals. She leveraged her skills.
Yes.
She found creative solutions, and she built a strong team.
She did it all.
And her efforts paid off.
They did.
Within a few years, Her mini mailbox business was generating significant revenue, proving that you don't need a ton of capital to get started.
That's right.
Lisa's story is incredibly inspiring. It shows that with the right mindset and a willingness to take action, anyone can achieve success in business.
Absolutely.
But before we get too carried away with the excitement of finding and buying a business, there's one crucial step that we can't overlook: due diligence.
Oh, you are so right.
Yeah.
And Sanchez dedicates an entire chapter to this critical phase.
Okay.
She emphasizes the importance of thorough verification before you make any purchase.
I imagine there are a lot of potential pitfalls and hidden risks that buyers need to be aware of.
There are a lot.
Yeah.
And Sanchez doesn't sugarcoat things.
Okay.
She even shares a personal story about how she lost millions of dollars in a cannabis investment because of incomplete due diligence.
Ouch. Millions of dollars. That's a lesson learned the hard way.
It was, but it highlights the importance of doing your homework.
Right.
And not letting excitement cloud your judgment.
So how do we avoid making similar mistakes? How do we approach due diligence in a way that protects us and ensures we're making a sound investment?
Well, Sanchez breaks down the due diligence process into two distinct phases.
Okay.
The first phase is all about verifying the seller's claims.
Gotcha.
It's about getting a general sense of the business's health, its financial performance, and any potential red flags.
Okay, so it's like a preliminary screening process. What kind of things are we looking at in this first phase?
You're looking for any glaring inconsistencies or warning signs that might warrant further investigation.
Okay.
For example, you'll want to verify how long the business has been operating, whether it's actually profitable, and if the market for their products or services is growing or shrinking. You'll also want to find out if there are any major customer concentrations.
Okay.
Or if the business is overly reliant on a single supplier.
So it's about getting a holistic view of the business and its environment.
Yes.
And if everything checks out in this initial phase, then we move on to phase 2.
Exactly. Phase 2 is the full-fledged due diligence investigation.
Okay.
This is where you really dig into the financials, review contracts, assess legal compliance, and gain a comprehensive understanding of the business's operations and potential liabilities.
I imagine this gets pretty complex and detailed.
It can be, which is why Sanchez stresses the importance of having the right professionals on your side during this process, especially an attorney who specializes in business acquisitions.
It makes sense to have an expert guide you through the legal and financial complexities of the deal.
Absolutely.
Now, are there any common pitfalls or red flags that we should be particularly wary of during this due diligence process?
Yes. And to help buyers navigate this process, Sanchez provides a list of 19 red flags to watch out for during due diligence.
19 red flags. That's a lot to keep in mind.
It is, but they can really save you.
Okay.
Can you give me a few examples of what these red flags might look like?
Sure. Some common red flags include decline in sales, excessive competition, a lack of transparency from the seller, an inability to scale the business, and any inconsistencies in the financial statements.
All very important things to watch out for.
These red flags basically serve as warning signs that the deal might not be as good as it seems.
Exactly.
And they should prompt you to ask tough questions and potentially even walk away if the risks outweigh the potential rewards.
Absolutely.
So due diligence is crucial for protecting yourself and making sure you're making a wise investment.
I completely agree.
But once you've found a business that passes your due diligence checklist, the next hurdle is figuring out how to finance the acquisition.
You're right. And that's where Sanchez unveils this game-changing concept. Profit paybacks. Also known as seller financing.
Profit paybacks. That sounds interesting. Tell me more about how that works.
It's a way to acquire a business with little to no money down. Instead of seeking a traditional loan, the buyer essentially uses a portion of the business's future profits to pay back the seller over time.
That sounds like a pretty sweet deal for the buyer. What's the catch?
There's no catch per se, but it's all about structuring a deal that works for both the buyer and the seller.
So it's a win-win situation.
Exactly. The seller gets to cash out of their business over time, often at a favorable interest rate. And the buyer gets to acquire a business without having to come up with a huge sum of money up front.
So it's like a built-in partnership with the seller having a vested interest in the continued success of the business.
Exactly.
Does Sanchez provide any examples of how this profit payback structure works in practice?
She does. She breaks down the mechanics of profit paybacks, using a simple example.
Okay.
Imagine a business with a $500,000 price tag and an annual profit of $200,000.
Okay, I'm following you.
Instead of taking out a traditional loan, the buyer could negotiate a profit payback agreement with the seller. Where they agree to pay a percentage of the monthly profit. Until that purchase price is paid off.
Right.
Let's say they agree to pay 50% of the monthly profit. Which would be about 8,333 trawls in this case.
I can see how that would be much more manageable than coming up with $500,000 up front.
It really is.
Yeah.
It significantly reduces the buyer's initial financial burden and aligns the incentives of both parties. The seller wants to ensure the business continues to thrive, so they receive their payments, and the buyer is motivated to maximize profitability to expedite the payback period.
It's a smart way to structure a deal that benefits everyone involved, and Sanchez emphasizes the flexibility of profit paybacks, right?
Yes. It's all about negotiating terms that work for both sides. You can adjust the monthly payment amount, the length of the payback period, and even include certain assets in the agreement. It's about finding creative solutions to make the deal work for everyone.
So it's not a one-size-fits-all approach. There's room for customization and negotiation. What are some of the advantages of profit paybacks compared to traditional bank loans?
Well, profit paybacks often come with lower interest rates than bank loans, which can save you a lot of money in the long run. Plus, there is a psychological benefit to not having that huge debt hanging over your head.
I can imagine that would be a big relief for a new business owner.
It is. It frees you up to focus on growing the business and generating profits rather than worrying about making those loan payments.
It's a testament to the idea that there are often multiple paths to achieving your goals.
Exactly. And while profit paybacks can be a great option, they're not the only alternative to traditional bank loans. Sanchez also touches on a few other intriguing financing options.
Okay, I'm curious. What else is out there?
Well, she mentions SBA loans, which are government-backed loans designed to help small businesses access funding. These loans often come with more favorable terms than conventional loans, making them a viable option for acquisitions. She also discusses acquirers.
Acquirers, I've never heard of that term.
It's when you acquire a company primarily for its talented team.
So it's not about the products or services. It's about acquiring the human capital. That's interesting. When would that strategy make sense?
It's particularly relevant in industries where skilled labor is a key asset, like technology or healthcare. Instead of trying to build a team from scratch, you can acquire a company that already has a talented and experienced workforce in place.
That's a smart move, especially in a competitive job market. It sounds like acqui-hires can save time, money, and a lot of headaches. What are some of the other financing options Sanchez mentions?
He talks about zombie company takeovers.
Zombie companies. That sounds a little ominous.
It refers to acquiring distressed businesses that have the potential for a turnaround.
So these are businesses that are struggling but still have some life left in them.
Exactly. It's a higher risk strategy, but it can also be highly rewarding if you're able to successfully revitalize the business.
I can see how that would be appealing to someone with an entrepreneurial spirit and a knack for problem solving.
Right. And lastly, Sanchez mentions employee acquisitions.
Employee acquisitions, what does that mean?
It's a strategy where you offer ownership stakes to key employees as a way to incentivize their commitment and contribution to the business's success.
So it's a way to attract and retain top talent and give them a real stake in the company's future.
Exactly. It's a way to align incentives and create a shared sense of ownership.
It sounds like there's a whole world of creative financing options out there, and it's about finding the one that best fits your individual circumstances and the specific deal you're pursuing.
Absolutely. And once you've secured financing, you'll need to navigate the crucial phase of negotiation to seal the deal.
Okay, so this is where things get serious. We're talking about hammering out the terms of the agreement and making sure everyone's on the same page. Does Sanchez offer any guidance on how to approach this negotiation process?
Absolutely. She emphasizes the importance of strong negotiation skills to secure favorable terms and provide some practical tips that can be applied to any business deal.
All right, let's dive into those negotiation tips. What's the first piece of advice?
Her first tip is pros control terms. It's about setting the framework from the beginning and having your own documents ready, not just relying on the seller's paperwork.
So it's about taking control of the process and making sure you're not just reacting to the seller's demands. What's the next tip?
Her second tip is to be likable. Building rapport and establishing trust can go a long way in securing a win-win outcome.
That makes sense. Negotiations shouldn't be adversarial. It's about finding common ground and creating a mutually beneficial agreement. What's the next tip?
Her third tip is to be patient. Don't rush the process. Take your time to evaluate the deal thoroughly, and don't be afraid to walk away if the terms aren't right. Sanchez reminds us that those who can wait often win in the end.
Patience is definitely a virtue, especially when dealing with complex transactions. It's about maintaining a clear head and not letting emotions cloud your judgment. What's the next tip?
Tip number 4, questions are power. Use questions strategically to gather information, uncover potential leverage points, and gain a deeper understanding of the seller's motivations.
It's about being an active listener and using questions to guide the conversation towards a favorable outcome.
Exactly. And finally, tip number 5 is to meet them at home. Sanchez emphasizes the importance of creating a comfortable environment for negotiations. She shares the advice of a billionaire real estate magnate who always insists on meeting sellers in their own offices.
That's an interesting tactic. What's the thinking behind that?
It's a psychological play. By meeting on their turf, you subtly shift the power dynamic and create a sense of ease that can lead to more productive discussions.
I can see how that would make the seller feel more comfortable and potentially more open to negotiation. So we've covered the 5 key negotiation tips, but Sanchez doesn't stop there, does she? She offers some additional nuggets of wisdom.
She does. She shares a list of negotiation truisms that can be applied to a wide range of situations. One of my favorites is, "He who wants at least wins."
That's a good one. It speaks to the importance of having options and not being overly attached to any particular outcome. What are some of the other truisms she mentions?
She also says, choices, give yourself options. Mirror back what the seller is saying and summarize. And follow-up questions are your secret weapon. These are all little gems of wisdom that can help you navigate the complexities of any negotiation.
Those are great reminders. Negotiation is a skill that can be learned and honed over time. It's about being prepared, being strategic, and being willing to walk away if the deal isn't right.
And remember, nothing is good or bad except by comparison. Having a clear understanding of your alternatives and your walkaway point gives you the confidence to negotiate from a position of strength.
That's a great point. It's all about knowing your worth and being willing to walk away if the deal doesn't meet your needs. So let's say we've found a business, we've done our due diligence, we've secured financing, and we've successfully negotiated the terms of the deal. What's next? What happens after you actually acquire the business?
That's when the real work begins. And Sanchez emphasizes the importance of building a strong team to make your acquisition a success, especially if you don't plan to run the business yourself.
So even if you're not the one running the day-to-day operations, you still need a solid team in place to ensure things run smoothly.
Absolutely. She stresses the crucial role of a competent operator, someone who can manage the day-to-day operations and ensure the business continues to generate profits.
It makes sense that you'd need someone you trust to oversee things, especially if you're not familiar with the intricacies of that particular industry. How do you go about finding the right operator?
Sanchez has a great rule of thumb that she calls the 6 figures to thee and me rule.
The 6 figures to thee and me rule? That sounds catchy. What does it mean?
It's a simple but effective guideline. It means that your business needs to generate enough profit to pay 6-figure salaries to both you and your operator.
Okay, so it's about ensuring that both the owner and the operator are well compensated and motivated to grow the business.
Exactly. And it also provides a margin of safety, ensuring that the business has enough financial cushion to handle unexpected expenses or market fluctuations.
That's a smart approach. But when it comes to attracting and retaining top talent, money isn't everything, right?
You're right. And Sanchez suggests incorporating performance bonuses, equity sharing, and profit distributions into the compensation package. It's about aligning incentives and giving the operator a real stake in the business's success.
Those incentives can be incredibly powerful. They foster a sense of ownership and encourage the operator to think like an entrepreneur.
Exactly. And Sanchez doesn't just tell you to find a great operator. She actually provides actionable advice on how to do it.
Okay, I'm all ears. What are her strategies?
She walks you through the process of crafting a compelling job listing that stands out from the crowd, using a real-life example from her own company.
So it's not just about listing tasks and responsibilities, it's about selling the opportunity and highlighting the potential for growth and impact.
Exactly. And she goes beyond traditional job postings and provides 6 additional strategies for finding potential operators. It's about being proactive and tapping into your network, attending industry events, even exploring online communities.
So think outside the job boards. That makes sense. Are there any particularly creative strategies that stand out?
Sanchez even suggests poaching proven talent from your competitors.
Whoa, hold on a second. Isn't that, well, a little unethical?
It can be a bit of a gray area, but it's done ethically and strategically. It can be a highly effective way to find top-performing individuals who already have experience in your industry.
Okay, so it's about offering them a better opportunity, not just trying to steal trade secrets or anything like that. What happens once you've identified some promising candidates? How do you go about evaluating them?
Sanchez provides clear guidelines for conducting effective interviews, focusing on assessing competency, expertise, and problem-solving skills. It's about going beyond the resume and really understanding the candidate's potential and how they would fit within your company culture.
I imagine those interviews would be less about checking boxes and more about having a genuine conversation to see if there's a good match.
Exactly. It's about asking the right questions to uncover their thought processes, their values, and their ability to handle challenges.
So it's a two-way street. You're evaluating them, and they're evaluating you to see if there's a good fit on both sides. And once you found your ideal operator, what's next?
Sanchez emphasizes the importance of a smooth transition process and outlines 3 key phases for taking over a business and setting it up for success.
Okay, so we're not just handing over the keys and hoping for the best. There's a structured approach to this handover process. What are those 3 phases?
The first 60 days are all about transfer and transition. This is where you immerse yourself in the business, learn the ropes, document processes, and basically get deep understanding of how everything works.
It's like an intensive onboarding process, not just for you, but for the business as well. What happens after those initial 60 days?
From days 60 to 90, the focus shifts to stabilizing and systematizing. It's about creating structure-refining processes and implementing systems to ensure efficiency and consistency.
So it's about bringing some order to the chaos and laying the groundwork for sustainable growth.
Exactly. You're setting clear expectations, establishing accountability, and creating a foundation for success. And then from days 90 to 120, it's all about powering up.
Okay, I like the sound of that. What does powering up entail?
It's about driving growth, implementing strategic initiatives, and optimizing operations for peak performance.
So we've transitioned, we've stabilized, and now we're ready to really take things to the next level. That's exciting. Sanchez also talks about the importance of setting a North Star, right?
Yes. She emphasizes the importance of clear communication and setting a North Star for your team. It's a shared goal that everyone is working towards something that keeps everyone aligned and motivated.
That makes sense. It's like having a guiding light that keeps everyone moving in the same direction. Does Sanchez offer any examples of what a North Star might look like for a small business?
She gives the example of focusing on email list growth as a North Star. It's a tangible, measurable goal that can have a positive ripple effect across the entire business.
I can see how that would be effective. A bigger email list means more potential customers, which translates to more sales and revenue. Are there any other tools or strategies that Sanchez recommends for ongoing success after acquiring a business?
One of the most practical and impactful tools she recommends is the concept of Financial Fridays.
Financial Fridays? What's that all about? Does it involve wearing your lucky socks and hoping for a big deposit?
It's a bit more structured than that. It's about dedicating a specific time each week, preferably Friday afternoon, to review your business's financials, understand the key metrics, and make informed decisions based on the numbers.
So it's about having a regular financial checkup to make sure everything is running smoothly.
Exactly. And to make this process easier, Sanchez even includes a real-life example of a financial summary, highlighting the key data points to track. It's about having a clear grasp of your financial situation and making data-driven decisions, not just relying on gut feelings.
That's a crucial point. It's easy to get caught up in the day-to-day operations and lose sight of the bigger financial picture.
And this regular financial review helps you identify trends, potential problems, and opportunities for improvement. Sanchez argues that a solid understanding of your numbers is essential for attracting more wealth.
It's about taking control of your financial destiny and making strategic decisions to maximize profitability. I'm starting to see why she calls her book Main Street Millionaire. It's not just about buying a business, it's about managing it effectively and making smart financial decisions.
Exactly. It's about being proactive, not reactive, and using data to guide your path to success.
Speaking of success, Sanchez provides some practical growth strategies for those Main Street businesses, right? Once you got the business running smoothly, how do you take it to the next level?
She offers 7 actionable growth tactics that can be implemented immediately to start seeing results. And the first one is often the easiest, but also the most overlooked. Raise your prices.
Really? Just raise prices? That seems a little too simple.
It might seem counterintuitive, but Sanchez emphasizes that most small businesses undervalue their products or services and are hesitant to increase prices. She encourages readers to analyze their pricing strategies and make necessary adjustments to reflect the true value they offer.
So it's about knowing your worth and not being afraid to charge what you're truly worth. But how much should you raise prices? Is there a magic formula?
Sanchez suggests a range of 5% to 7% depending on the industry, the market, and your competitive landscape.
That's a pretty wide range. I imagine there's a bit of art and science involved in finding the right price point.
It's about finding that sweet spot where you can maximize revenue without alienating your customer base. And it's important to remember that failing to adjust your prices to account for inflation can erode your profits over time.
That's a good point. If your costs are going up, but your prices stay the same, you're essentially making less money.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's much easier to make small incremental price increases over time than to try to play catch up later on.
What's the next growth strategy Sanchez recommends?
Adding subscriptions. Sanchez argues that recurring revenue is a golden ticket to business stability.
I can see why. It's like having a guaranteed income stream coming in every month.
Think about it. Predictable income, reduced churn, and increased customer lifetime value.
That's a powerful combination. And Sanchez provides examples of how to incorporate subscriptions into various business models, right?
Absolutely. A car wash could offer monthly memberships for unlimited washes. A landscaping company could set up recurring payments for lawn maintenance, and an extermination service could offer annual contracts for pest control. It's about finding creative ways to provide ongoing value and build long-term customer relationships.
Those are great examples, and these days consumers are accustomed to subscription models. It's become a standard part of our lives, which makes it easier to integrate into your business. What's the next growth strategy on Sanchez's list?
Updating your website. In today's digital world, a strong online presence is essential for any business, regardless of industry.
I can't argue with that. Your website is often the first impression a potential customer has of your business.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to cost a fortune to create a website that effectively showcases your products or services. Sanchez emphasizes the importance of a user-friendly website with a clear call to action, compelling testimonials, and easy-to-find contact information. She even suggests offering online booking or scheduling options to streamline the customer experience.
Those are all great suggestions, and I'm guessing high-quality photos and videos are a must.
Absolutely. Invest in professional photography or videography to make your website visually appealing and showcase your business in the best possible light.
Okay, so we've raised prices, added subscriptions, and updated our website. What's next?
Sanchez highlights the power of referrals. Word-of-mouth marketing is one of the most effective and cost-efficient ways to grow business.
It's the best kind of advertising because it comes from a trusted source.
Exactly. And Sanchez provides a simple but powerful question to ask your happiest customers. Would you be willing to refer 3 friends who would also benefit from our services?
That's a great approach. It's direct and actionable.
And don't forget to offer incentives for successful referrals. It could be a discount, a gift card, or even a charitable donation in their name. Show your appreciation and encourage them to spread the word.
What's next on Sanchez's list of growth strategies?
Generating reviews. Online reviews can make or break a business, especially in today's reputation-driven economy.
I know I always check online reviews before trying a new restaurant or hiring a contractor.
And you're not alone. Sanchez shares some eye-opening statistics. 93% of consumers say online reviews influence their purchasing decisions. 58% of consumers are willing to pay more and wait longer for a company with better reviews, and unhappy customers are 10 times more likely to leave a review than satisfied ones.
Wow, those statistics really highlight the importance of online reviews.
It's not just about getting positive reviews, though. It's also about responding to negative reviews professionally and addressing any legitimate concerns. It shows potential customers that you care about their feedback and are committed to providing excellent service.
So even negative reviews can be an opportunity to showcase your commitment to customer satisfaction.
Exactly. And to make the review process easier, Sanchez suggests implementing a system to automate review requests. There are several software tools that can automatically send out review requests after a customer transaction, making it easier for you to gather feedback and build your online reputation.
That's a great tip. Automating the process can save a lot of time and effort. What's next on Sanchez's list of growth strategies?
creating magic moments for viral content. It's about finding those shareable moments that capture attention and generate buzz online.
So it's about creating content that people want to share with their friends and followers. Does Sanchez offer any suggestions for what kind of content works well for this?
She highlights the power of video content, especially for businesses like power washing or home cleaning, where the before and after transformations are visually stunning.
I can see how that would be eye-catching. People love those dramatic transformation videos.
And it doesn't require a Hollywood budget to create engaging video content. Sanchez suggests using a simple tripod in your phone's time-lapse feature to capture the magic. Then you can outsource the editing to a freelancer or use affordable video editing software to create high-quality content that showcases your expertise and wows potential customers.
That's a great tip. It makes creating video content much more accessible for small business owners. Where should you share those videos?
Sanchez recommends posting them to YouTube to expand your reach and potentially even generate ad revenue or brand deals. It's about thinking creatively and leveraging the power of online platforms to grow your business.
YouTube is a great platform for reaching a wide audience. What's the final growth strategy Sanchez recommends?
Implementing systems for efficiency and scale. It's about finding ways to streamline operations, reduce waste, and maximize productivity.
So it's about working smarter, not harder.
Exactly. She uses the example of a pressure washing business. By implementing systems for lead generation, customer follow-up scheduling, and service delivery, the owner can significantly increase their capacity and revenue without having to work around the clock.
It's about leveraging technology and automation to optimize your business operations. Those are all great tips for growing a business, but what happens when you've reached a point where you're ready to move on? Does Sanchez address exit strategies?
She does. Sanchez dedicates a chapter to exit strategies and maximizing your sale price, emphasizing the importance of having an exit strategy in place from the beginning.
Even if you don't plan to sell for years.
Even then. It's about thinking long-term and making decisions that will enhance the value of your business and attract potential buyers down the line.
So you're essentially future-proofing your business for a potential sale. Does Sanchez offer any examples of what a successful exit strategy might look like?
She shares real-life examples of business owners who achieved lucrative sales by focusing on profitability, building strong systems, and de-risking their businesses to make them attractive to potential buyers.
Those are all key factors that contribute to a business's valuation.
Exactly. And she goes into detail about the specific factors that impact business valuation, emphasizing the need to create a business that can essentially run itself without being overly reliant on the owner.
So it's about building a valuable asset, not just a job for yourself. What about those add-backs she mentions?
Add-backs are adjustments made to the financial statements to present a more accurate picture of the business's true earnings potential. They can increase the sale price by highlighting the underlying value of the business beyond just the raw numbers.
Can you give me an example of how an add-back might work?
Sure. Let's say a business owner includes personal expenses, like a company car or a family vacation, in the business's expenses. During the due diligence process, a buyer might add back those expenses to the profit and loss statement to show what the business's profitability would look like without those non-essential expenses.
That makes sense. It's about presenting a more accurate picture of the business's financial performance to potential buyers.
Exactly. And Sanchez uses several concrete examples to illustrate how add-backs work and how they can benefit sellers.
It sounds like understanding add-backs is important for both buyers and sellers.
Absolutely. It helps ensure a fair and accurate valuation of the business. And Sanchez reminds us that even in times of economic uncertainty, well-run businesses with strong fundamentals can command premium prices.
So it's not just about timing the market, it's about building a solid, resilient business that can weather any storm.
She emphasizes that bad economies only ruin bad deals, encouraging readers to focus on building businesses that are built to last.
It's about playing the long game and building a legacy that can create lasting wealth and impact. But what happens if you're not quite ready to completely exit your business? What if you just need an infusion of cash to fuel further growth or pursue other opportunities? Does Sanchez address that scenario?
She does. She explores the concept of partial exits, where you sell a portion of your business while retaining ownership and control.
So you're basically cashing out some of your equity without giving up your entire stake in the company.
Exactly. It's a strategic move that can provide liquidity without relinquishing your entire ownership. It allows you to tap into the value you've created while still participating in the business's future growth.
That's a great option for business owners who aren't ready to fully retire but need some capital to pursue other ventures or maybe even invest in other businesses.
And Sanchez also highlights the importance of building a strong network of potential buyers and investors. It's about cultivating relationships and creating a buzz around your business long before you're ready to sell.
So you're essentially planting seeds that might bear fruit down the line.
Exactly. This proactive approach can lead to more favorable terms and a smoother exit process when the time comes. It's about positioning yourself for success and being prepared to capitalize on opportunities when they arise. Exactly. This proactive approach can lead to more favorable terms and a smoother exit process when the time comes. It's about positioning yourself for success and being prepared to capitalize on opportunities when they arise.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the RICH formula, the importance of due diligence, creative financing options, negotiation strategies, building a strong team, implementing growth strategies, and even planning your exit. It's clear that Sanchez's Street Millionaire is more than just a book about buying a business. It's a comprehensive guide to building wealth and achieving financial freedom through entrepreneurship.
Yeah, it really is. It's a practical and actionable guide that demystifies the process and empowers readers to take control of their financial destinies.
But beyond the financial rewards, Sanchez reminds us that ownership goes beyond just building wealth. It's about creating a legacy, making a positive impact on your community, and inspiring others to pursue their entrepreneurial dreams.
Absolutely. It's about contributing to a more vibrant and prosperous society where ownership is accessible to all, not just a select few.
It's about empowering individuals to become the architects of their own lives and create a world where everyone has the opportunity to thrive. What does this all mean for you, our listener? As we approach the end of our deep dive into Street Millionaire, I want to leave you with a final thought from Cody Sanchez herself. What boring business in your community might hold the key to your financial freedom? It's a question that challenges us to look beyond the flashy and trendy and consider the often overlooked businesses that are quietly generating wealth and serving their communities.
It is. It's about opening your eyes to the possibilities that exist all around you right in your own backyard.
It's about recognizing that extraordinary wealth can be found in the most ordinary of places.
Yeah, and it's about embracing the power of ownership and taking action to create the life you desire.
It's about looking at your local dry cleaner or that auto repair shop with a fresh perspective. They might not be glamorous, but they could be the ticket to your financial independence.
Right. It's about shifting your mindset from employee to owner and recognizing that the path to wealth might be paved with those everyday businesses we often take for granted.
I love that reframing. It's about seeing the potential where others might just see the ordinary. And it's a reminder that financial freedom is within reach for anyone who's willing to put in the work and follow Sanchez's proven strategies.
Absolutely. It's not about luck or privilege. It's about knowledge, action, and the courage to embrace the power of ownership.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into Street Millionaire, I want to ask you a question. What's the biggest takeaway for you? What resonated with you the most from Cody Sanchez's message?
That's a good question. For me, it's the emphasis on finding businesses that align with your zone of genius. You know, it's not just about chasing profits. It's about finding a business that you're passionate about, that plays to your strengths, and that allows you to create a life you truly love.
I think that's a great takeaway. It's about finding a business that fits you, not trying to fit yourself into a business. And it's about recognizing that building wealth isn't just about the money, it's about the freedom, the impact, and the legacy you create.
I agree. It's about building something that you can be proud of, something that benefits not only you and your family, but also your community and the world around you.
So to our listener, we encourage you to take some time to reflect on your own zone of genius. What are you passionate about? What are you naturally good at? What kind of impact do you want to make? The answers to those questions might just lead you to your own Street Millionaire journey.
And remember, the resources and strategies Sanchez outlines in her book are readily available to anyone who's willing to put in the effort.
It's not about having $1 million to start. It's about having the mindset, the knowledge, and the determination to make your financial dreams a reality.
And who knows? Maybe that unassuming laundromat or car repair shop in your neighborhood could be the key to unlocking your own financial freedom.
So there you have it. We've reached the end of our deep dive into Street Millionaire. I hope you found this journey informative and inspiring.
We encourage you to explore the world of business acquisition and consider the possibilities that exist right in your own community.
If you enjoyed this video, smash that like button and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, keep learning.